Now, as you know, I don't like these level 1 fiestas, but obviously when we have a regular game that isn't over by 15 from them, and we have a KHA'ZIX in Master Tier who plays completely opposite to Ogurin. Moby's rush, hyper-aggressive, coin-flipping, yet he's able to win a decent amount, and obviously for most of us here, will allow you to utilize maybe the same style to reach your peak before the end of Season 13. Vayne's going to flash and get that kill onto the Zoe, the Yasuo sticking it around, we have Flash Q available, and the Yasuo has Flash as well, so let's see what happens. There we go, and the Singed is on the top side, readying himself to proxy. So, 1 minute 10, the brand is just like, well, you know, I got an assist, I'm a little bit chunked, but you know what, it is what it is. How can we use Moby Boots? Honestly, like Moby Boots in 2023. I've been playing this game since 2013, so there you go. But it's really interesting because back in 2013, 2014, we actually did use Mobies on junglers all the time. We'd have Spirit of the Elder Lizard, a jungle item for AD users. You'd have your Last Whisper items and your Black Cleavers and Tiamats, and really different time. You know, we needed those boots to get around the map. Now you don't, right? Because the game's faster. But how can we play when we make the game even faster? First Strike Rune Set being used. The brand, Vision on the blue, he's taking this. I have no idea what happens. All I did was, I got a summary of what this guy likes to do, and I saw the Moby Boots, I saw a 30-minute game, and he said, but there were kills, you know, in the first, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I said, normally I don't like that, but let's see what he's up to here. Blue into the Grump, we have Zyra Senna versus the Vayne Lulu, so Zyra Senna should have some pressure there, at least to shove in. Because Brand is starting top side, sequencing down, I would ensure that you're tracking this guy and spam pinging when you think he's on here and here and here. Usually, as I tell you, 2 minute 30 cross is maximum. Most lower elos, this is what you'll see. Boom, 229. Ping it off, you know where he's going. And now again, we're so used to standardized jungling that the different thinkers, the out-of-the-box gamers who are able to invade quadrant clear into certain different kinds of actions, they're the ones getting advantages. Now, my version of that is a lot of reverse clearing. If you want help implementing this information into your own game, I have a free jungle improvement resource, as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries, weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's converting junglers to gold, to emerald, to diamond, to master plus. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle div every game you play, click the link below or head to virkayu.gg. Look at this, he's low, he doesn't, for some reason he has Ghost. I have seen a few brands doing this, but just go Flash. I love this kind of stuff because it's not a coin flip invade. This was a strategically timed invade based upon where we knew the brand was and what his HP was through, of course, the vision we had. So Yasuo has no flash, which means we can just walk on up into him. We have, of course, our Q, our auto passive from the slow, we have our W, we do a bit of chunkings, and now float up to the top side to protect these camps. So overall, you're not necessarily going to see 12,000 kills a second with this kind of jungling because you have to do it somewhat intelligently, right? Because the brand now, this is good here, the brand knows if I go bottom side, I got Krugs and a Scuttle, KHA'ZIX started his blue side so there ain't nothing available. Sure, I could gank the bottom lane, and they're thinking, yes, he could. So they're going to base off of this. The KHA'ZIX here and the silly downside of this is you really want to have a ward to track this because I'm nervous about these things, and that's mostly because I play the brand style junglers and people just run at me and take my stuff and my life. That's why I use reverse clears and I'm always thinking about these kinds of things, but you're not entirely sure where the brand is going to go, and in Master Tier you still have a few coin flipping moments. So what he does is he does his Raptors, doesn't even think about the brand, and now as soon as you go for this here, oof, we missed a W, should have held that a little longer, but a couple orders will do the trick. Now, when the Yasuo moves up there, you should basically go, why is he moving up? And you might think, oh, did Brand actually do the smart play and try and steal my stuff and maybe kill me? Yes, but the KHA'ZIX just repeat ganks. We push and body down the Scuttle Crab, very important, right? Because we know Brand's going to loop around, so you push it down. So he has to walk all the way into the river to have a look. And that's where you kind of think, well, was it actually the smart thing? Well, did he have much of a choice? No. His idea was, look, KHA'ZIX is going to be here. Maybe I can use my small itemization advantage here and HP advantage to kill him, take it back, and then obviously I have this, I can fall back to the second spawn Grump, all these good things, right? The problem is, if you don't get any of that, now you gotta wait for your Grump to spawn, but the same, on the other side of that shit coin, you take this into this, and they go back to base, and this is nowhere near up, so you gotta go mid lane, which, not terrible, right? Because maybe you can counter gank the KHA'ZIX, but you don't know these things, you can't see into the future. Now what KHA'ZIX does is, No, obviously he doesn't rush Mobies. He goes Mobies. I misled you, I'm sorry. He goes Mobies, doesn't necessarily rush them because Serrated Duke is so broken and strong and... if you don't build it, it sucks to face. We don't take this, right? We just move on down. We say, cool, no mid laner. I'm going to go back to base. The brand says, look, my thing is sequencing and farming. You know, why am I playing into this PvP thing? Just focus experience. Senna's moving on up here, obviously going to try and steal these things away from us. It is, of course, the APC Zyra in the bottom lane, which it isn't actually me, but I have done this for many years, about 10 years. Whenever I get full ADC, I'm like, I'll go Zyra, play something else. No stress, I'll CS. Because, you know, I come from a time where you could actually play her mid properly. So this is not that shocking, to be honest with you. Now, we know the brand's going to do the Krugs. We decide to use the prior we have and the vision we have from the mid lane and the prior we're going to gain from the bottom lane to try and snack away this Dragon. The downside is the following, and I'm sure most of you see these kinds of moves all the time, right? You see the guy sequencing down, you know you're trying to sneak this away, you're just hoping that no one kind of puts you in a position where you have to do this so you can just finish it. And unfortunately, your support doesn't really factor those things. And now we're coin flipping, but we do have Q Smite, which is a bit better, but Zoe will just take it away anyway. And now we die. So this play, overall, the only time I'm okay with this kind of dragon, because you know the brand's here, he's going down, you know he's going to loop, 100%, is when your bottom lane has hardcore prio or is, you know, going to be able to distract the brand a little bit. Because you don't want your team to have hardcore prio, the brand ganks it, they die when you could have rotated, but you're doing the dragon. You don't want that either. So it's really like they have control rather than prio, and they're able to know that the guy's going to be coming through a ward. They can back off, poke him a little bit, things like this. And obviously you've got to be fast at taking it. So if I'm the Mundo there, back when he was actually a champion, I would go ahead and 100% do that dragon because I know I can get it quickly. I know I'll only do it with smite up. Don't do it without smite up, and then snack it, kill the jungler who shows up bottom lane. So that doesn't work out perfectly for us. This does, though, and I think the brand here should be thinking about this. And this is something I need to talk more about in general, right? Obviously, Yasuo's rotating here. We have the Gnar that has disappeared also. So you want to be very, very cautious here. And the best thing you can do sometimes is just go into your wolf camp. But maybe we can do something here with the Zoe rotating as well. Lulu rotates from base. We're going to E out here, jump into the mist of destiny, and run away with the Senna. But the Zoe's now being collapsed upon and puts the Gnar to sleep. And again, a lot of stuff is happening here. And as you get into high elo, you'll notice when you go in these invades and these exploits and these things and your laners play around you, they might end up just losing. So you've got to do it smart. In this case, I like the idea of the second buff invade. I think that is something that I need to talk more about. That's what I was mentioning. Going for that second blue, that second red, pathing in such a way that you can trap them on it, knowing you win that 1v1. Now again, on the main channel video I just released, there's a clip of me doing that on Zyra vs Kindred. Invaded the second red buff. I had 6. They did not. They died. Right? I set that up in the early game. So the KHA'ZIX does the same thing here. But the problem is, as Brand kills the Singed, is that when you come and do this, and you kill the Brand, you've got to watch the lanes. And obviously the lanes in high elo are going to start to move. Mind game them. The Brand is dead. You can just hippity-hoppity go to the wolf camp and just go back to base if you are truly worried about being collapsed upon. Because they'll think you're going here or somewhere else, and you've just got to mind game your base or mind game how you're going to get out. That's the most important thing. Just don't force your laners to rotate and die in these fights. Really make it your own kind of play. And the only time it's all right to bring your laners is if they're categorically going to win and the enemy laner's dead or chunked or something like this. But Yasuo and Gnar, they move on over. Yasuo gets nothing, but the Gnar gets a lot. Zoe dies as well. Brand shows up here because we just saw him kill the Gnar. And this is the problem with KHA'ZIX. This is the problem with... Well, Brand is pretty damn good at what you just saw. You can do this on mages, but I don't think the KHA'ZIX should necessarily be dying from this. So again, we jump in here, we get this. You know the Brand is going to have his ult up. You have your ult up as well. Let's look at this mechanically. We use our unseen passive threat, okay? We do the auto WQ for the first combo of damage. We reposition, get another one out as well. We go into the brush here, get that Q. Now we're stunned. The problem is here, you're stunned long enough that the Brand can hit this W, and we're waiting to see when can we flash here. Now we can flash. You've got to have good reaction times, but the KHA'ZIX is just too slow in these reaction times. He's not expecting this W to come through because now he's not stunned, right? So you could definitely flash here into an auto attack, or if you need to, you can flash R flash. You just got to get out of this W, but he doesn't, right? He presses his R and he just doesn't see it coming. So they 100%, this needs to be the outplay from the KHA'ZIX. Now, I understand it's a mage and you just died to a brand, but it's very much a brand thing. If you did that to me on Zyra, as long as you avoided my E, you're most likely still killing me. But the brand does a good job, you know, it's clench. He's clenching, definitely clenching. And the KHA'ZIX now dies, unfortunately. However, 3-2-2, couple silly deaths, forcing the map to play around his aggression. We have the Ghostblade, 3.8k gold, Brand, 4.1k gold. So we're behind in gold. But also, this game, why it was interesting? Because the gold lead is in favor of blue team by a significant amount. Because again, if you look at the Vayne, 3.3, Zyra 2.9. It's, you know, yeah. Top lane, 4.0 to the Gnar, 2.4 to the Singe. Huge gap there. So how is an assassin with this type of playstyle that has huge downsides, can you actually end up carrying games? And the point of this is not necessarily to say, hey, this is how you should play. It's more, hey, if you want to get to Master Tier, this is a thing that can work just because the aggression will eventually snowball out of control for anyone to face you. Because you are a strong meta jungler. You are someone that understands these kinds of things. So we go, again, we take the quadrant, we go on the invade. Now we're just not really thinking too much about the brand. We're thinking he should be here. Obviously, if nothing's up, he's done. He's finished. And we can go for the dive. No brand, dive. We have the Zyra with ult available coming up very shortly, 5 seconds. You should try and ping that off. And we should try and do something here without a doubt. The Lulu goes out of position, so we're going to E-launch in there, get condemned by the Vayne. Excellent zoning ult by the Zyra there, and cool. Pretty cool. So that's normal jungling, right? Out of base, do some camps, do some dives. We see the brand move on here. The Singe is obviously going to end. And as always, look at this. From here, don't go back. Don't go back. Either push this if there's nothing else to do and take some plates, or look at the translation gank in the mid lane and say, yes, yes. We have our boots finally as well. That's also why you can't rush Moby. So I think, you know, hopefully you connected all the dots. Yeah, hopefully you connected all the dots to what was happening when I misled you so severely in the introduction. Now, at this point, you see the pings from the brand. He's like, ooh, let's go for this. Okay, and let's just jump back to Brand's perspective while this is happening, okay? Because obviously the Herald is a point of contention right now. So we're going to go down the map here, chase a Singe. We have the Ghost activated, that's why. We're going to press that E into that QW over there, pretty easy snack. And now we're going to see the KHA'ZIX move back here. We have the Gnar here in a neutral wave. Lulu's moving on up to bottom lane here. Yasuo's dead. This is a free Herald. But at the same time, I do understand the trepidation against the KHA'ZIX players and things like this, the Echoes, because they can very easily steal these away with Q-Smite combos that you just don't match. Frankly, as mage, you just don't match. So, the KHA'ZIX here is now 5-2-2, hyper-aggressive, only up, well, he's up 2 CS. I was going to say only down, but he's actually up 2 CS. This is what I'm talking about, right? He's just so aggressive, he just goes. And I think because KHA'ZIX is able to just go and retract as necessary, he's able to do these things. This is completely different to how a Gurren would play, which is much more smooth, smart decisions. Go for the guaranteed plays, you know, build a little differently, doesn't play full assassin. KHA'ZIX enables these kinds of playstyles. So we do have our boots. We do have enough money for the Mobies. We see the brand take this, so we cut around, ignore the Krugs, and go straight for the Dragon. In this particular case, we do have bottom lane prio. We know that Yasuo probably will rotate, but we have the Zoe collapsing, so Yasuo should not force this. Brand now will try and contest, no point. Yasuo's gonna do this. Brand's gonna rotate over here. We do have a flash, and we want to reposition to avoid the tornado ult. That's a lot of Zoe damage. We try, as I said, try to avoid the tornado ult, saving his flash like double lift. Again, these are not good mechanical plays. Without a doubt here, you've got to have the anticipation to flash, reposition, and avoid. I know it's narrow, but I want to see the attempt. Better than death, right? Because you're definitely dead there from the dot damage, but you might as well get him back. Here, you know, just leave. Take this, and then loop back around into a lane gank, right? Especially if the brand is going to hang around. So, now, we have the Mobies. We can activate the Ghost Blade. We see 3 people bottom lane. And this is where it takes over from this early game to mid-game transition. He wants to be able to rotate to all scenarios as fast as possible. Fortunately, his bottom lane is doing work. That's a kill to the Zyra. It should be a kill to the Zyra, but apparently it isn't. No, it is. Sorry, it didn't show up on the target. But he rotates over, snacks himself up a kill. Push this, my friend. Push this. KHA'ZIX, turret, help, shove. Get yourself some experience. I do like to do this. Why? Because I kind of want to go and take this as well. Like, I want this wave to crash nicely. I want to take this very easily and relaxed. Then you can fall back here while Zyra goes back to base. And now you can start moving the chess pieces around, but also you get a nice shove here and counter jungling denial moment. So, terror damage. I know Zyra has it under control, but you know what I mean, right? Desire is already base, he's already on the map, you're just moving the game fast a little bit. Something to think about. But if you don't do that because you trust her and you fall back to your blue side quadrant, catch this wave here. Mobies will allow you this out of combat movement speed, but I don't like it objectively. I just think it's interesting. I'm here to bring you some interesting builds and interesting ways to play the game. The problem is, a lot of you are now going to go Mobies KHA'ZIX after this and play psychopathically like this and just run for the invades. You have to see where your impact is felt in the lanes. You have to track the lanes. You have to mechanically outplay. Please understand this. I'm not telling you just to... Off you go. Off you go, Silver KHA'ZIX players. I'm not telling you to do that. No disrespect to you, but balanced jungling approach. Get your fundamentals down before you do these things. But I have seen some really bad KHA'ZIXs get on Smurf accounts, right? I'm a little worried about the trap here, but that's fine. Where they kind of do lose out early quite a lot. They'll be 0-4-2 early, playing really just aggressively, not fully tracking these things. Kind of like this. Then they don't go Mobies, but they eventually have items, so people die. And that's what KHA'ZIX does enable a little bit, you know? What's going on in the mid lane here? Damage, Yasuo, Lulu ult. But again, what do the Mobies allow? This sort of rotation, right? This, now you can just, look, this is the thing with Brand. He's EG, he's waiting to hit the Q to stun you, misses both of those things, so good understanding from the KHA'ZIX there. And obviously that Mobi boot proc enables that distancing, that spacing. You just focus on why one would pick something. There's a lot of reasons to not do stuff in League. There are a lot of better options in League. We know these things, right? But when someone does something unique, and they like to spam it, and they're having a reasonable success with it, always ask why. What are the benefits? You know the drawbacks of losing certain aspects of someone's atomization and rune set, but what are the benefits of this particular rune set? So TP from Nar, over the wall here we do have everything up, so that should be a dead Lulu most likely. There we go, that's an unseen passive threat auto attack for extra damage and slows, unnecessary. Brand's flanking from the side here, obviously focused on his farm now, has caught up a lot. We'll reposition here, in and out, in and out, in and out, using the Ghost Blade. W would have killed if he hadn't died. Now the plants are slowing and chunking the vein. KHA'ZIX, be very, very careful here. There we go, the R proc Q range, nicely done. Nar will kill us, but we'll take it. 744 as an assassin is okay, because you're going to use the gold more than anybody else, and that's the governing rune set of why he's playing like this. 7.8k gold, 600 ahead of the Brand now, right? On his team, the most gold. First Strike is also giving him cash money. So, everyone respawns, do some camps, clear some wards. Now we're just looking to set up for the dragon, and again, the Mobies will allow these things. It's been a long time since this has been a very strong item, and I do think we can do something with it to make it a bit more relevant. Without a doubt, it would be nice to see it be again used on junglers, because I think when you are forced to get movement speed from elsewhere as a true value, because you don't get it for free from everything else, and you can stop abusing the haste creep that we have with this game from Ionian and things like this, I don't know. Diversification of boots. We'll do this for free. Q-Minded combo is pretty huge. They're split, so we just need to pick a side to go on. I don't know what Vayne's going in here. We'll firstly try and kill the Lulu. She ults herself, which is perfect. Reposition there for another unseen-passive threat Q. We're going to E-space back out. Let the plants do their damage here. We obviously have no more procs on that ultimate. So we just want to keep track of where everybody is. It's a lot of low targets. We're trying to peel the Zoe here. Whereas I think I would have preferred to chase down and finish off the bottom lane, or to go ahead and, you know, just push the mid lane out yourself into the turret, because they've got a whole bunch of dead people that can't do anything. Regardless, we fall back into our camps to the wolves there. You know, the Grump needs to be taken. I know we're sequencing up, but we got a lot of time. But we also have the Herald. So what he's basically doing is not optimizing for intelligent quadrant clearing, not optimizing for edge camp taking. He's just existing at a... I need to go from here to here as fast as possible. If something's in my way, I'll kill it, take it, snack it, whatever. Because I'm going there. Item spike. Level spike. W evolve complete. Gotta pull this out here. They're coming from here most likely. At least I would anticipate it. So obviously you want to stack it up. Brand obviously stays out. We don't know that the Brand stayed out, right? We don't know what the Brand did. But the Brand willingly gave up this Herald. Don't know if I would have. So I know the KHA'ZIX is playing aggressively. So I'd ping my team and say, look, maybe we can kill him here. But Mobies can't compete with someone who's got 488 movement speed out of combat, moving from side to side. That's what makes Viego so good, right? Is that E moving around the map? And when Trundle was meta, same thing. Hello, KHA'ZIX. We're going to E to avoid, obviously. We'll do the Q auto attack and another R into another auto attack into W. That was easy. Yes. 9.8k gold. and Brand is 8.3. You see it? The aggression isn't always good and philosophically sound, but as long as you're getting more for yourself than the enemy, and you understand that it's on you to carry the game, and that you understand that the Brand might have an experience advantage, but you have the gold and damage advantage for the game, it's okay. Again, with great power, with great inking, comes great responsibility. Nice double W over there, or double, as you'd like to say. Well, you know, in English cursive, it's like this, so it is a W. But in other languages where it's a double V, it is a V, right? And it's typed on a computer with a V, so... Brand is not most likely going to pop us like a weasel. Gnar shows up here, Zoe's top lane, Zyra's mid lane. We're over-chasing a little bit. Do I need to commentate that, or do you guys understand this issue? You do, right? Well, what happens then is that the Gnar is going to chase down and kill the Singed, I think, based upon the timeline there. KHA'ZIX is like, maybe I can help. No, I'm just going to snack this up. We're down 4k gold, 4k gold. We need to look for an opening. And all assassin players, listen up. What is this? It's a cheekbone. Ear. Listen up. Eventually, as an assassin player, when you have the most gold on your team and in your game, you're going to have to make a play. A great fight, a great flank, a great pick, great triple quadra kill. You're going to have to do something with your mobility. And here we go. Edge of Night, amazing item into the things like Brands and Zyras because they just can't stun you before you kill them. And now we're just going to go adventuring. Hello, Brand. When hit that W, take away the shield that the Brand had. I thought something more was going to happen, like holding my breath a little bit. Good Herald, because we cut them off as well, so they can't collapse. Gnar is flanking. Let's take this turret and then decide if we're going to go and fight or we're going to pick the Gnar off. So, ideally, I'd like to pick the Gnar off, but the dragon's coming up. It's our soul point. So, again, great dragon control here. The first one was risky. We understand this dynamic early level 5 dragon, but it has set his team up for a good soul. Now, Gnar jumps in here again. Champion, man. We reposition, get healed up. We obviously have the movement speed from the Scuttle Crab there. We do have the ability to chuck out a W, which gets the kill. Now we're spacing. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Frame this. You're an assassin player? Most of you in lower elos are here, dying. Most of you don't even escape the Gnar. Look at him. Cooldowns. 3 on W, 2 on E. So what are we doing? Waiting for that. Then fighting over the dragon here. Look at this. We're going to E over the wall here. Obviously get that kill. We have our Q midair. And again, the auto attack goes off here. Q is about to come off, but we don't need it again. The enlarged or the involved Taste Your Fears gives you that cooldown refund, right? So extended range plus cooldown refund is juicy. This should be soul for us as long as we're Q smiting and taking control of business. We'll just E and jump on that guy. Very good, very good. This entire fight is won by KHA'ZIX. Great if this is won by KHA'ZIX. Gets caught out by a Gnar, who for some reason almost one-shots him. Fighter items are great. And then he repositions, flanks out, and just waits. Watches, observes. Who's going to overcommit now thinking the KHA'ZIX is out of the fight? Got Mobies to reposition too, right once you're out of combat. And there you go. I don't like Mobies because in combat you lack a lot of speed. We're at 385. And I prefer to have consistent speed all the time, but I do understand those who have high mobility, Ghostblade, Aura KHA'ZIX, you know, the E as well, that you don't necessarily need raw movement speed to aid you in those fights when you've got those tools. So let's make our out of combat super strong so we can really flow around nicely. Does that make sense? Like, that's the logic here, really. Interesting, though. Interesting. Very interesting. Good kills. Gnar chases us again. We activate our Ghostblade. Movement speed 629. no one's catching. Singed. He lives. He lives. See, now again. Ghostblade plus Mobies. We got Serpent's Fang here as well, plus a Prowler's Claw. Bane's out of position here. We're going to reposition as fast as we can. That should be very easy. QW. Again, flanking from the backside. Good stopwatch there. Zyra, nice ult into the Yasura. That should be a dead Brand. Thank you so much. Avoid that. Pop goes Weasel. Very good. Bottom wave is pushing. Poking. See this? The difference in mentality from good KHA'ZIXs to bad KHA'ZIXs to average KHA'ZIXs. So you cannot like the jungling theory. You cannot like the high-risk playstyle. A lot of things do happen, though. Advantages do occur. But I'm here also to show you that what might work in Master Tier, that won't work in Challenger, that doesn't necessarily work with how I personally would play the game. I like to counter this kind of stuff, to be honest with you. It can work for someone. So try and find your groove. Really. Try and find your groove. And honestly, this style works really well if you play it with confidence. understanding, and you're trying to climb to diamond even because no one knows how to react to it. They don't understand this kind of aggression. Like, what are you doing, man? Leave me alone. And they have no idea how to track and go to the right position or make those picks, and you just get really free fed. So you can sacrifice camps to do it, but he has fallen back to camps nicely at this stage. Everything is down. We're waiting for a team. No reason to really go back to any of this, right? Like, we're good. 565 base movement speed at this point. Press that one. We'll see what we get to. Big shield. Big shield. And that's why we have the Serpent's Fang. We need to reposition again. He's forced to flash this time. And we did misposition that time. So anyway, after all the praise for his positioning, it seems we went to do some trolling. But we do have Baron. So, Senna, scaling, Baron. We did our job. Allowed our team to do their thing. And at this point, hopefully they don't die without me. Or without us, you know. That's what I'm thinking, though. If I make the mistake, and I do. We all do. Just don't die, guys. Cool. We respawn, and literally nothing happens until Elder Dragon. Now, we've got the inhib, we've got the pressure. The Gnar is becoming a big issue. Credit to this guy trying to 1v9 this game for his team. And obviously now you just use your traps. If you fill builds, you got your stopwatch. Don't need to worry about anything. Here we go, here we go, here we go. There we go. We've got to kill the Gnar. The stopwatch. You see that he's afraid. He's tasting his own fear at this point. But it's fine. W poke from the back line here, and we can just play typical front to back fight. We stopwatch to avoid the Yasuo who goes deep. The Vayne is using her ultimate. We'll just go for that nice kill onto the back line again. Not quite. We get condemned, but we're able to finish it off. So, not really a fight that's too meaningful from the assassin perspective, but the one that won the game, right here. Right here into those moments. Crucial. Here as well, out of base, using movement speed. Crucial flanks. Huge. Honestly, huge. I like watching good assassins, and I like watching people try different things and have success with different playstyles. Again, don't necessarily think this is what's going to do the trick all the time against really good junglers, fundamentally sound junglers, but for 99.9% of the game, this can get you fed. Interesting. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I'll see you all in the next one.